Heidi here. I'm down here in the corner. I thought I would share with you today my some of my best sales on eBay in January. January was kind of a hard month. I was expecting things to bounce back better. It was probably about 30% up from December, but still not what I'm looking for. I had 68 sales on eBay. I think the total gross was about $2,300. But I had 20 sales that were for $30 or more, and those are the ones I want to show you today. I will also tell you approximately how long I had the item and if I took an offer. So this first thing you see here is a linen jacket. The brand is History Repeats, and I didn't find much about it. History Repeats, right here. Right there. Since 1961. So this linen jacket had a lot of things going for it. It was kind of an engineer stripe. It had metallic buttons. It had patches. It had ribbon on the sleeves. It had epaulettes. The inside lining was robots. And let's see, I paid $4.37 for it, but I bought it last May. And I've tried a whole bunch of different prices, and several other women in the thrift store said, "Oh, I saw that. I was thinking about getting it," and I was like, "Too bad." But I just kept moving the price around, and I never had any offers at all. And then I finally got an offer in January for $70 off my $100 asking price. I don't know why it's not showing that an offer was accepted, but I sold it for $70, and if I ever see this brand again, I would definitely pick it up because, it just had a lot going for it. And I thought at first maybe these patches were DIY, but all of the very few History Repeats items that I found were similarly kind of crazy. So, don't know if you'll ever see that brand, but I thought I would share it with you. My next sale that was for over $30 was a men's crewneck sweater from Outer Known. There's their label, kind of hard to read. I had it listed for $46 in October. I paid $4.71 for it. I really like this brand. I've only found it 2 or 3 times, but I accepted an offer of $38, which I thought was very fair and pretty good for just an ordinary men's cotton sweater. They do organic, though, so if you ever see organic on your care tags, be sure to put that in the listing, because some people that matters to them very much. Duluth Trading, it's a brand I really like, and I used to pick up more of it. So this was new with a tiny bit of tag, and it was called the Heirloom Gardening Overalls in a size 2XL. So they're these short overalls, and I paid $5.99 for them in October, and I accepted an offer of $43. And so if you are picking up Duluth, just do the comps on the particular item, because some of the very basic stuff just doesn't go for much. And if you want to find the name of the item, like these were the Heirloom Gardening Overalls, the style number on Duluth is on this little tiny white tag at the back, and it's that 5-digit number at the top. If you just Google that 5-digit number and Duluth Trading, you will get the name of the item, unless it's very ancient. So accepted a $43 offer, and it took me about 4 months. So I would definitely pick those up again. This is a Freefly men's lightweight bamboo hoodie. I discovered Freefly for the first time last year, and it's hard to say. If you keep saying Freefly, you end up Freefly. That's where you end up. Anyway, here's the label for that brand. I discovered it last summer, and I think I've found it 5 or 6 times now. I figure there must be a store in my area, like an outfitter, outdoor kind of store in my area that just started carrying it, because I had not seen it before, and now I see it regularly. And it doesn't get a huge amount of money, but it sells quickly. I got these in November, this hoodie in November for $3.99, and I sold it for $35. That was my asking price, in just a couple of months. So I really like getting Freefly. Next item that sold for more than $30 or more was this shirt. So, if you recall, in the era of discos, late 70s, early 80s, one of the things guys like to wear, other than really super tight rib knit sweaters, I have one of those listed too, it was shirts. They could have been nylon, rayon, acetate, polyester, but not nasty, definitely synthetic fibers. And they had really amazing nasty prints. Not nasty. Why do I keep saying that? Vibrant, that's a word I hear all the time. A vibrant print. No judgment there. And they had, this other feature was the collars on men's shirts then were these long, people are calling them dagger collars now. We just called them pointed back in the 70s because I went to the disco then. And this shirt had a lot of problems. Notice I put flawed up in the title. It had tiny holes like these in a bunch of locations. And I took pictures of all of them and described the heck out of it. And I had to, it was missing a bunch of buttons on the front. So I replaced them with ones that I thought were tastefully coordinating. The cuffs buttons were still there, but I took off all the shirt front buttons. You could flip the cuffs. Where's my button picture? I just went into my button bag and found, yeah, see this picture? That's the location of holes, all these little red circles. So I did replace the buttons with something that coordinated just fine out of my button bag. And someone sent me an offer on my $80 listing for $60 with the comment, considering the condition, I think this is a fair offer. And I said, you bet it is. So I got $60 for this shirt, which I paid $5.99 for back in October. So if you ever see vibrant prints in the men's shirts and it's a slinky nylon polyester kind of fabric and it's got a dagger or a very long point collar, why not get it? The brand on this did not matter at all. I have sold 3 of these now. My husband has one in his closet that he actually bought in 1972, and he won't let me sell it. But, people have to hold on to their dreams. Here is an example of an item where I did use an auction. I'm always advising you not to use an auction on things like, J. Crew blazer. Just don't. If you're looking up comps on something, that's pretty common. And you see prices that are like way out of whack, like $6 or $8 or $12 on something that you thought was going to be 25 or 30 or 50. And you're looking on eBay comps. Check to see if they're auctions. I usually remove the auctions from the sold comps because I don't want to see those things where people they list everything at auction and hope for the best. I don't know where it comes from. So on saturated clothing items, I never use an auction. I could have used an auction on that disco shirt, but I'd rather just wait. With an auction, you only have, the number of days you choose. I like to do 5 days that end on Sunday night. But you only have those days for a buyer to see your item. And I waited 4 months to get $60. If I had only wanted to wait 5 days, I might have gotten 30. You don't know. But here's an item where I did use an auction, and here's why. So I had this lot of Cabbage Patch Kids shoes. I had 1 pair of socks, I had a bottle, and 2 pairs of jeans. I got these in a bag at Goodwill, all bundled up together for, what did I pay? About $5.99. And I washed the shoes and the shoelaces and I didn't wash the jeans. They were fine. I washed the socks. I soaked them. They were very yellow. And I just arranged, I see here I didn't put these 2 shoes together. Anyway, I was looking at comps and there would be There was a comp for one pair of jeans. There was a comp for 2 pairs of shoes and a pair of socks. There was a comp for 30 pairs of shoes. There was a comp for, you see what I mean? Nobody had exactly what I had. And to sell each pair of shoes individually, I could have gotten anywhere from $2 to $10. And I didn't want to list all those shoes individually. But I thought, I know this has got value because there's more shoes sold than listed. So I know there's an audience. But I don't know what my particular batch is worth. So I listed it. I calculated what my fees would be. Have you ever been to finalfeecalc.com? You can calculate what your final net profit would be on an eBay sale. You just put in all the, I paid this much, the shipping is this much, I charge this much for shipping, I charge this much for the item, and it'll tell you your profit. So I played around with that calculator to set a starting price that would be worth, that I'd get like $3 or $4 profit. Worth it to me to take the pictures. And so I started my listing at like $8.99 plus shipping. And I had a couple bids the first day and then nothing. And on the last hour of the last day, the whole package got bid up, 20 bids on it, sold for $41. So yay, that's when I use an auction. I would pick up Cabbage Patch stuff again, and I actually have 2 little items sitting on my to-do list. They're drying because I washed them. A little tiny suitcase and a t-shirt that says, I went to Scotland. So that'll be fun. I will I won't do an auction for that. I will just ask something for it. Okay, here's another sale that was more than 30. I sold this for $45. It's a vintage Franklin Quest. Franklin Quest was the planner company before Stephen Covey bought Franklin Quest, and then it became Franklin Covey. So if you see Franklin Quest, worry not. The Franklin Covey people will still want it. So this had pages inside from Franklin Covey, but the binder itself said Franklin Quest right there. Isn't that interesting? I like to include any pages that I have because it kind of dates it, 1997 on this. I have sold a lot of these binders. The zip around ones generally get more. Embossed ones, the best one I ever sold was for $170 some. It was croc embossed leather. So this one was nice because it had a wristlet and it was zip around, and it sold for $45. I paid $1.60 and it sold in a month. So I do love those Franklin binders. Here's a J. Jill boiled wool coat, and it had pockets and 1 button. I got that. Where's that one? Oh, there it is. I paid, I don't know why I bought this. I paid $9.74 for it, which is way out of whack for me. But it was only listed about a week and a half. I listed it for $58 and took an offer for $49. So the fact that I paid $9 for it is okay. It's rare for me to pay more than $6 or $7 for anything. But I paid $9 and I sold it for $49 in a week. So that's the kind of, it had a little wrap inside. I had to shave it, but that's okay. Here is Polo Jeans Co., which is a Ralph Lauren line. I listed this for $38. I actually took an offer for $31.16. Maybe I sent an offer. So this would have been worth more if it was olive green or like a medium camel brown. Blue is not as good. It's also a small. So I would love to find an item like this in a different color and a bigger size. But I took an offer for $31. I paid $4.68 for it, and I had it for 2 months. So I do like all the Ralph Lauren lines. I just don't get plain basics from them. It has to look like a Lauren piece. Here is a girl's coat, size large or size 14. I had this a very long time. I got it in January of 23, so I had it a year. I tried all different prices on this. It had 2 tiny little marks on the front, but they look like that, if you can even see them. But I finally accepted an offer of $30. Rothschild is a good brand if you are into selling kids' clothes. I very rarely do it, and I don't know why I did this one. But yeah, it took me a year to sell that, and I think I paid $5.99, so sold it for $30. Next is an item from my husband's personal collection. He was going through a box of old memorabilia. I've also sold a few t-shirts that he found, but this was a poster from Guitar Player magazine, 1984. This was a promotional poster that he got. He sold Guitar Player magazine in his guitar shop that he owned back in the 80s, and this was a poster that was given to. It came shipped with that month's issue. So he just rolled it up. It had some creases in it, you can see. He rolled it up and stuck it in his mementos box, and that's where it's been since the 80s. And I accepted an offer of $30 for that. So not anything, well, you could find it if you do look at posters or go to garage sales, things like that. Posters that, I mean, if they were sold at, we had places where you could buy weird things to decorate your hippie bedroom. I don't even know what they're called anymore. They were like Spencer Gifts, only a little more off the wall, if you know what I mean. And they sold tons of posters, and we hung posters in our rooms about anything. And I think if you found posters that had copyrights from the 70s and 80s, you would know enough to pick them up. But this is Eddie Van Halen, and since he's no longer with us, it means a little bit more. Here is the only item that has sold from my ThredUp designer box. I might, if once I sort out all my feelings about ThredUp, I might make my plans for ThredUp are video in the future. But I broke down and bought a designer box. I got it on sale. It was still ghastly expensive, and I sold these Christian Louboutin cork wedges. They had damage along both sides. Along the bottom, right there. And, of course, the red soles were gone, which is why anybody buys them. There's no red paint left. And I had to estimate the size. But I sold them for $50. What did I put down as my cost for those? $19.43. So did I make money? Yeah, about as much as I would have on an Under Armour t-shirt. So yeah, I've still got a handbag, a dress, a blouse. What else have I got? Yeah, a couple items in there I couldn't even list. Here is a Cabella's women's extra large goose down parka with a faux fur hood. The nice thing is the ruff would come off, so you could wash the hood, and the hood was removable as well. So very nice quality jacket. Cabella's is not the highest end, but it's good stuff. And I took an offer on this one for $40. And it was very big and bulky, and I was glad to see it gone. I paid $6 for that, and I had it for 2 months. So I don't know how I feel about jackets. They're bulky and they're hard to move sometimes. This is something I wish I could find every week. It is a Brooks Brothers shirt dress, short sleeve, cotton, kind of a little pleated skirt. It had a belt with it. Here's the, well, you know what Brooks Brothers looks like. Size 10. It was navy blue, just an ultimate classic. I paid $4.79 for it, and it sold in about 3 days. I had it listed for $44, and I took an offer of $35.20. So I do like Brooks Brothers, especially if it's well, Brooks Brothers doesn't make things that go in and out of style. They just make classics. Here's an example of I breaking my rule. I experimented some this past year with stock photos, and I've reached the conclusion I just don't like the risk, especially on eBay, and I also don't like the copyright infringement. This is an Eva Franco asymmetric pleated skirt, and I paid $4.04 for it, and it sold, I bought it in September, so it sold in about 4 months. I did put stock photos in because it's a very unusual skirt, but I think my photos were okay. I listed it for $49, and it sold for full price in about 4 months. So I am not adding stock photos to any of my new listings, and as I come across them, I'm deleting them from old listings. So I've just decided that's not going to be part of my business model. And it is much riskier to do on eBay than it is on Poshmark. What's next? This came in a... Where did I get this? Oh, I bought a thread-up fabric box, DIY textiles and fabric. They didn't even claim it was clothing. And I paid like 60 cents an item for the stuff in that box, but I only kept 3 of the items to list, so my actual cost was $5. And one of the items I pulled out of that box of fabric was this Alex Evenings. Let me show you the label if you're not familiar. Alex Evenings. I've sold a lot of Alex Evenings over the years, but I always want to get something that's easy to describe and looks good on a mannequin. If it's hard to describe, I just leave it behind. So I paid $5 for this. I listed it for $60, and oh, there's another stock photo. Bad girl. I took an offer of $40. I listed that in December, so I only had it for about a month. And I called it a mermaid dress because it was tight to almost the knee. Usually they're tight to the knee and then flare out. And this had tulle in the pleats, so it kind of puffed out like a mermaid fin, I guess. I don't know. Here is a cashmere sweater, and the brand is State. And I came to find out that apparently Mongolian cashmere is the best kind. I think I heard that from Jack Valentine. So I did some research, and I discovered that's true. It is great stuff. Premium cashmere, State cashmere is the brand. And premium cashmere. Our goats are sometimes rude, but they're always happy. I just love that. So I did research on State cashmere, and they use only Mongolian goats. So I put Mongolian cashmere in my title. None of their stuff except their website said Mongolian, but none of their labels did. But sometimes if you research a brand a little bit deeper, you find things that you can brag about. So I paid $3.99 for this back in October. I listed it for $50. It's just a classic turtleneck, ribbed turtleneck. Listed it for $50 and took an offer of $40. So that just took October, 3 months to sell. Here's a couple items that I'm very excited about. I recently bought quite a few COS, C-O-S, branded items. COS is not a line of H&M. COS and H&M are owned by the same company. So they have very different business models, very different aesthetics, everything. COS is not fast fashion. It's like affordable minimalism. Well, affordable being relative. It's not Walmart prices. But many of their items sell for under, just like $80 or $90, going up to a couple hundred. So they're not super high end. But I bought a bunch of them, and last week I listed 2 of them because I have a lot of other stuff to list first. I listed a skirt and I listed a sweater, and they both sold within those 2 days that I listed them. This bubble skirt, let me show you the back. It's easier to see the shape. This lower panel is cut on the bias, so it creates kind of a bubble shape at the bottom, or I also called it a cocoon. I also called it avant-garde. You can see the hem is shorter in front than in the back, but it doesn't actually wear that way because of the bubble. It puffs out in the back. I bought this for $5.40, and I listed it on January 25th, and I sold it on the 28th. And I took an offer of $35 off of the $44 listing. The other COS or COS item I listed was this sweater. I listed it for $38 and took an offer of $30, and that was, just about the same day. So I asked on Instagram, let me show you the COS label. I asked on Instagram how people felt about COS, and my polls don't engage a huge number of people, but probably 20 people answered, and a majority said that it's usually a no for them. Maybe 35% said it's usually a yes, and a small number said they never find it. So cost is usually a yes for me, and that's why I bought this larger quantity. And it's all basics, of course, because they're a minimalist capsule wardrobe, um, wide shapes. Um, you could call it log and look, but it's not so much layered as it is big shapes or shapeless. Check out their website; you'll see what I mean. And I asked my girls if they were interested in looking at any of the pieces, and one said no, and the other one said yes. So they definitely appeal to particular people, and all their stuff is either cotton or wool, and the wool all feels like merino to me, but they don't say it's merino, so I don't either. But it's all very fine. Merino wool has a finer makes a finer yarn, a thinner, finer yarn than lamb's wool does or sheep's wool. So that's why it's great in base layers, because it's not, the finished product isn't very thick. But a lot of their stuff that's wool feels like merino, but they don't say it is. The last item I sold on eBay in January that was over $30 was this J. Jill midi dress. It was a 2X, a sleeveless knit dress with a cute little flounce at the bottom. And I listed it for $49 back in October. I took an offer of $32, and that one was new with Jags. And it listed for, or retailed for $119 originally. Yeah, it probably sold on sale for $80. So getting $32 was happy for me. So those are my top sales from eBay in January. Again, those were 20 of my 68 sales. My ASP on eBay is about $28 without shipping included. It's about $34 with shipping. So that's what I have for you today. I hope it was useful or interesting, or, helped you take a nap if that's what you were going for. Hope to see you again soon. I had fun. Bye, kids.